Hey, I'm Mel Robbins, and welcome to my hotel room in Los Angeles. I've got some downtime before a big event, and so I wanted to take a moment to answer Eric's question. Eric writes about dealing with difficult people. Specifically, how do you deal with somebody that always has to be right? We've all got somebody like that in our life, whether it's a boss or a friend or a spouse or a parent or a kid, somebody in your life that has to get in the last word, that has to be right, that dominates the conversations. And there's a certain way to deal with people like that. And one of the things that I want to make a distinction between before I jump into the tactical advice is I'm always coming from a place of how can you put yourself in control of your mind, of your actions, and of your emotions. And so one of the things that's really important is to understand when you're dealing with this person that always needs to be right, is it your ego that's in charge, or is it your heart that's in charge? Because if your ego is in charge, you're going to get emotional, you're going to get sucked into the argument, you're going to get combative, or you're going to feel wounded, or you're going to feel attacked. If your heart is in charge and you're in control of the way that you're behaving, you're going to have a totally different experience of the conversation. So the first things first is, as you're dealing with somebody who always needs to be right, ask yourself, do you even care about what you're talking about? Seriously, 5 days from now, are you going to care about what you're talking about? Because if you don't really care, but you're just getting sucked into this because your ego wants to fight this person, that tells me that you're not in control, okay? I work at CNN. I work at Success Magazine. I travel around the world speaking to some of the most respected brands in the world. I bump into smart people way smarter than me all the time. People that want to have arguments, people that want to be right about things. And it's very clear to me when I care about what we're discussing and when I don't. And so first things first, as you're dealing with this person, do you even care? Because if you don't care, just let them do whatever they're doing. It doesn't matter to you. Second thing, if you do care, here's a tactic that you can use. If you're dealing with somebody who needs to be right, who's complaining, who's argumentative, I like to visualize somebody who's throwing up. When somebody's throwing up, there's a bunch of vomit coming out of their mouth, and you shouldn't stand in front of it. Like, step off to the side. Don't let it get on you. That's their stuff coming out. And as they're spewing, listen, and then ask them this. Anything else? And they'll spew some more. Anything else? Because what you said was interesting. They'll spew some more. Then all of a sudden they'll be done. Now that they're done, they actually might be able to listen to you. And so one of the great tactics that you can use, it's a negotiation tactic, is wait for them to spew and then say this. Say, one of the things that you said that I found interesting was X. So repeat something to them about what they just said. And the reason why this is an important thing to do is because psychologically what you've just done is you've just validated this person. You've also shown them that you were listening. The third thing that happens is everything shifts and they're now ready to listen to you. I hate to bring politics into this, but I want to play something for you. At the second presidential debate, and this has been one of the most disgusting, vitriolic, awful kind of political moments in US history. But there was an interesting moment in the second presidential debate that really caught my attention. It was the very last question. So they had just spent 90 minutes basically tearing each other's eyeballs out. And then they asked one question of both candidates. Is there anything you respect about the other? And actually, both of them stopped being right and arguing with one another, and they actually complimented each other. It was pretty remarkable. Donald Trump said that he actually respected that Hillary Clinton was a fighter. And Hillary Clinton said that she really respected the young men and women that Donald Trump's kids have turned out to be. There was a total tone shift. And you can create that too in the person that you're arguing with. Because you got to remember, somebody that's argumentative, somebody that wants to be right all the time, they typically have been pretty beaten up in life, and this is their sort of weapon that they use to prove their self-worth, to prove that they're important. And so they typically are not getting acknowledged that often. So if you let them spew, you then find one thing that you can compliment them on about what they just said. The tone will shift, their ears will open, and they'll actually be able to listen. That, my friend, is how you not only deal with argumentative people and people that need to be right, but it's also how you deal with yourself. It's how you maintain control when somebody else is clearly completely out of control.